Good evening. I'd like to call to order the August 6th, 2025 Borough Council meeting. If you could rise for the pledge and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Grace?
Here.
Mr. Lister?
Here.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Here.
Reed?
Here.
Ms. Willenbecker?
Here.
Ms. Miller?
Here.
And Ms. Lloyd is not here.
She's on her way. I'd like to report on the last executive session. We discussed matters of real estate and litigation. No action was taken. Ken?
Madam President, tonight we have with us Alexis Wirtz from the Middletown Area School District, and she'd like to make a brief presentation on their request for sponsorship of a Dauphin County Gaming Grant.
Feel really far away from that. Can you hear me? Good evening again. Thank you, Mr. Kleinpeter. My name is Alexis Wirtz. I am the Assistant Superintendent with the Middletown Area School District. Just had my 1-year anniversary, so feeling leaps and bounds from where I was a year ago this week. But thank you for having a little bit of time for me here this evening. Mr. Kleinpeter gave handouts that I had sent him. Just a quick infographic about the Raider Pack program. It is largely funded and sustained through a gaming grant that we received with your co-sponsorship in the fiscal year 2023. At that time, Dr. Lindsay was probably here and asked you for the same kind of thing. And at that time, the program was running at about $50,000 a year was the cost. All of the food at that time was purchased from Central PA Food Bank. This past year, I think we've been really fiscally responsible and have reduced that cost by half by getting food from other sources, which I'll talk to you a little bit about. But we did serve just about 300 students this past year, 279 students across 198 families. I thought it might be important for you to know I went through and 61% of those families were from Middletown Borough. So, you know, a large majority of the families that we served with food were coming right from the borough. We gave almost 3,000 food bags out across 27 distribution weeks. And we do that in 2 ways. The bulk of the meal bags are perishable items that we send home. So this past year it was Wednesday nights. This coming year we plan to do Thursday nights, but we have 2 co-coordinators that work with the food banks to get all of the food into us and plan packing, and then we have volunteers that come and help 1 night a week. We pack bags based on the family size of the student. So if it's 1 student, they get 2 breakfasts, 2 lunch, 1 or 2 dinners, and a couple snacks. But if it's 4 students in the family, it's that times 4. But we're trying to do it responsibly and not giving, you know, 4 peanut butters every week to a family that's not going to eat 4 jars of peanut butter in a week. So in packing that way, we are sending bags to the schools the next day and they get sent home. The other option is to come to the high school to pick up food. You get that same non-perishable food bag, but then we're also getting donations of eggs from Kreider Farms until the bird flu. Hopefully we can pick that back up again to start the year. And then Giant in Middletown gives us donations of perishable items every Wednesday. We pick that up right before the food distribution time. So there are lots of opportunities for more food if families can come pick up. So we're really going to try and push that heavier this year because I think there's just an opportunity to get way more food than the perishable items. But we do those bags every week, and we're fortunate we still purchase food from the PA Food Bank. Milk every week gets delivered by them, and then we can go there One of our coordinators goes and does like a shop for things that we need to kind of flesh out the pantry, and that's, you pay per pound, and then that's really all that we're paying for, which is why we've reduced the cost by half for food. The rest of it is coming from Midwest Food Bank, which we go there twice a week, right off of Spring Garden Drive. And that food is all free. It's a donation. So we go and choose from what is available, and she borrows the box truck, Big Blue, from the district, picks it up, brings it, and helps to stock our pantry, which is at the high school. The district pays for the stipends for the two co-coordinators. That's the district contribution, but really the food cost is definitely coming from the gaming grant. So that $50,000 that we received from Dauphin County it's going to take us through this year, or almost. We do anticipate a little bit higher numbers, just what with the changes in the federal government, like food SNAP program. We think that we might see a little bit more participation. And hopefully, like I said, more are coming in. But that's how it works. We do this in partnership with the Blue Raider Foundation. The bills kind of get paid initially through the foundation, and then they send us invoices with supporting documents from the food bank. And Mr. Franklin, our CFO, cuts a check, but comes and gets Mr. Klein-Peter's signature on that, and then we get the reimbursement from the Gaming Commission just a little bit after that. But that's how the partnership with the foundation works. It's really works through them because they're a 501(c)(3). But really, it's all three of us that make this happen. So we are seeking another round of the grant. And I know, like, we still have some money from the Gaming Commission left. Like, why are we doing this? And I did ask that of the Gaming Commission. I said, is this too soon? Like, and the advice I was given was, no, that whole story you just told me about spending less than you anticipated spending because you found donations other places, that shows you're being fiscally responsible with these funds. And to continue, you know, we want to continue to have funds available to spend year into year. So if you are willing to co-sponsor us in this venture, really it's supporting your community, our community. I'll have like a 3-4 year plan that we put into the Gaming Commission grant to show that we're looking to be sustainable over the course of the next couple of years through this Gaming Commission grant. What can I answer for you?
So your request for this year will be for another 50,000?
No, good question. I think after working kind of a 4-year budget for the next 3 years, that we're going to request 30,000. It's costing us about 36,000. 26 of that this year was in food costs. We anticipate that just going up just with the natural rise in food costs. The district will continue to fund the coordinator stipend, both of the co-coordinator stipends. So when I projected out over a few years, like if we got a 30,000 this time, that would take us through the end of the 26-27 school year with like a couple $100 left over. Sorry, I should have.
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I do. Does Lower Swatara or Royalton help you with by co-sponsoring for the grant?
No, I mean, we haven't asked them to co-sponsor. It's my understanding, and I could be wrong, but it's my understanding that we need a municipal co-sponsor in this venture, and we're coming back to Middletown Borough because the large majority of the people that we serve with Raider Packs is from the borough.
Okay.
But it is something like, I mean, Royalton Borough had six students, so that was pretty small. I didn't even do that percentage, but Lower Swatara Township had 35%, so.
Yeah, it was just a question.
Yeah, fair.
Any other questions?
Hey Jenny, I got something here. This is Pat.
Okay.
It's an awesome program. I love that you guys are kind of leading that, and it's an honor that you came and asked us, since you're serving our community that we're, leading. How long has this been going on?
I think for 6 years the program ran. I think there was a hiatus in 2021, like right after COVID. Whoever was the coordinator was at that time left the district. We are really fortunate this year. We have Cindy McLaughlin is a retired teacher from the district. She helped start Raider Pack when it began, retired from the district and stopped. But we were able to kind of rope her in, and she, it's great because she can go and do the shops, I call it shops, but like choose food from the food banks. And then the other co-coordinator is a teacher at the high school. She actually teaches life skills, so part of their programming is helping to shelve the food. That's something like a life skill that they do anyway, so she can involve her students in that part of it. And even some of the setup of the evening, like they'll get kind of the meals ready that we're planning to pack and send. But 6 years, so maybe a little break in there right after COVID.
Yeah, I know they were doing it when I were on.
The question I have for council is this. I know these, there are milestones, there are time frames that have to be met when you apply for the grant. And the school district is going to have to go to a pre-application meeting this month. And one of the things they're going to need to know is who their municipal sponsor is. When I put the presentation for Alexis on here for the Raider Pack program, I overlooked putting it down in the agenda item, so we really shouldn't vote on it since it's not under agenda items. But she would like to know, if we have a majority that's in favor of supporting that $30,000 request this year, so that she has a sense of moving forward and not having to go search for another municipal sponsor. So if there's anybody who has any doubts, we kind of like to know, can we put this on the workshop agenda to vote? Do we have support for it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, Ken.
So that is 2 weeks, not 2 weeks today, a day less than 2 weeks from today, because it'll be Tuesday.
The 19th.
The 19th is
Perfect.
when we'll vote, and then we can sign the letter of support.
If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to me directly, or Mr. Kleinpeter has my email. I'll be at a board meeting that night, but happy to answer anything that is lingering in your mind after this.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ken, item number 1.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Oh, wait, I missed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Public comment on agenda items. Now's the time of public comment for the agenda. Does anyone have anything? Seeing none, item number 1.
Do I have a motion to approve council meeting minutes for July 15th, 2025 as submitted in your packet?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 2.
Do I have a motion to approve payment of bills as shown on the accounts payable list dated July 31st, 2025, which is for the period of July 11th, 2025 through July 31, 2025, and to ratify approval of such bills already paid and to authorize the appropriate officials to take the required actions to make those payments.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 3.
So I have a motion to approve payment number 11 to the Hayden Power Group, which is under invoice 08618, in the amount of $188,863.65 as recommended by Ashblund Engineering Services for construction work at the Spruce Street substation.
So moved. Second.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 4.
Do I have a motion to approve change order number 5 in the amount of $10,000 for acceptance of credit and removal of used equipment from the Spruce Street substation as recommended by Ashblund Engineering?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5.
Do I have a motion to approve the mayor entering into an agreement with the Spruce Ridge Reindeer LLC for rental of a sleigh and 2 reindeer for the tree lighting event on November 29th, 2025 in the amount of $2,350?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Angie?
Did the donation money come in yet? Thank you. And do we know who the donation came from yet? Thank you. And, Matt's not here. right?
No.
But you are. Can you, sorry, give me just a very brief explanation where the...
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
Thank you.
this isn't etched in stone yet, but I've been in discussion with the mayor about some plans, and Matt had some ideas too. But the general description is we're going to close off half of the street, which is about 18 feet from the curb, from Union down to about the first house, and create a corral of some type with some barriers, and the reindeer enclosure will be inside of that, and access will be limited to people who are going to see Santa, who will be at a sleigh with a reindeer too. And the sleigh we're hoping to have in a location that's visible to the Christmas tree, so people can get a picture of Santa with whoever's talking to Santa at the time, and the Christmas tree. So the reindeer farm had some general specifications on the size of their enclosure, but it's flexible as long as it's a similar square feet. She initially told us 15 by 15 for the enclosure, but that can be rectangled or changed in size, that it'll fit within that. It's 100 feet from Union Street to the first house, and again, it's about 18 feet out to the center line of High Street. So it'll be in that area. So
At the end.
right, there's enough room to fit it in there. Whether it'll be closer to one direction or another will be a moving process once we get a better idea of what her enclosure is going to look like, and how we can keep people out.
I'm sorry, I got confused for a second. But the tree's going to be where the tree normally is.
The tree's going to be where the tree normally is. That's
But where's
correct.
Santa?
Santa's going to be in the sleigh in that general area also, but within a barricaded area, so we can limit access to people who are just going in to see Santa. So you won't be able to freely walk around the sleigh and the reindeer unless you're allowed access into that area.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and if we need to, there were plenty of spaces for vendors last year, so if we need to move some people down a little bit, I don't think we'll have a problem with that. But I can't say exactly what area they're going to be in, but it's going to be in that general area, so the tree is a part of the sleigh and the reindeer and the experience for people seeing Santa.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Grace, roll call, please.
Mr. Pliskevich?
Yes.
Mr. Lister?
Yes.
Ms. Lloyd?
Yes.
Mr. Renninger?
Yes.
Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Willenbecker?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 6.
Okay, before I read the motion, I'm just going to rehash this item for you, because this is an item that was discussed in months ago when we applied for a DCNR grant for what we're calling here, the Sweat Crossings Park, which is the site of the old former pool, okay? If you'll recall, when we applied for the DCNR grant, Phase 1, we didn't have enough money, match money, to cover all of Phase 1. So we cut back our request of Phase 1, so it's like Phase 1A, okay? So what I'm looking to do now is attempting to fully fund Phase 1 by going for a Dauphin County gaming grant this time around, okay? The maximum amount that we can request through Dauphin County is $150,000, which is close to the amount that we were short to meet that full amount in Phase 1. As you recall, we pulled out some pavilions, some of the parts of the walking trail. So my plan is to draft a narrative for those missing pieces and apply for that money through the Dauphin County Gaming Grant. As you recall, when we talked about this in prior years, there is no match required for the Dauphin County. So if we ask for $150 and we get it, we don't have to put any money toward it. So that's where you see this motion. The other thing I want to mention too is we've gone back and forth with the name. We're still referring to it as the Saltwater Crossings Park, the future park, but that name will probably change. That's on the documents that HRG put together back from a year ago. But there are a lot of parks out there with that name, like Swatara Creek Park in West Hanover Township. There's a Swatara Crossing shopping mall along 322. So that's still up for you council people to decide what you want to name it before we actually start building it. And one of the suggestions that I threw out in the past was maybe something centered around the canal, because that area is where the Pennsylvania Union Canal met, and there was a canal lock and lake there. So we discussed maybe calling it Canal Crossing or Two Canal Park, something. So when you hear us talking about Swatara Crossing Park, it's just because that's what we started calling it from the beginning. So if there's no other questions, I'll read the motion, and then if there's a motion in a second, you'll have a chance to ask questions again. Okay? Do I have a motion to approve an application to the Dauphin County Gaming Grant Program for additional funding for Swatara Crossing Park for walking trails and gazebos?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Hey, I have a question. It's Pat, real quick. Is this the part where the pool was, or the pool is? Is that what we're speaking about?
Well, Phase 1 is where the nature play park is beside the pool. But we did,
gotcha.
in our revised Phase 1, we incorporated part of the pool in that, which means there's some trails that go over into Phase 2 with Phase 1. But what we took out of Phase 1 were gazebos. I think we took out a spray station, a trellis, and we might have taken out some other features that I'm looking to get back in. So we'll still have, even after this, we'll have a large part of Phase 2 that we're planning to come back to you in the spring and apply for another DCNR grant to hopefully finish that side off, which would include a band shell and some overlooks for the landings for the Swatara Creek.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Ken.
Any other questions?
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I do just want to go on record to say I am going to support this, but I really would like to just remind everyone that I would like to see us do something with Colston Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
Putting that out there.
No, we,
Just, I don't want it to get forgotten,
No.
so
No,
I
it
just want
didn't.
to put it out there again.
No, Councilor Lilly, we're going to discuss possibly some park funding when we get into budget, and
That would be great.
one of the things we can talk about is what we might be able to put in the budget. to
I just
replace it.
went down there the other
Yeah.
last week, so.
Yeah, the reason we picked, or I picked, suggested we go with Swatara Crossings for this gaming grant is because the documents, the drawings are already made up, the engineering's done.
I'm not
It'd be-
disagreeing. I completely support it. I just don't want that to be forgotten.
Sure.
That's all. So
Okay.
just reminding everyone. That's all.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 7.
Do I have a motion to approve the revised intergovernmental agreement between the Borough of Middletown and the Middletown Area Recreation Association?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I have a discussion. Is there anybody there representing, Mara tonight?
No. Oh,
Mhm.
Alexis is still here.
Yes, Pat, there is.
Okay, I have a couple questions, and I'm sorry to hold this up. So who has been the borough's representation of this throughout these last few years?
I am,
Mhm.
and Ellen's the alternate.
Okay. And then as I'm reading through this, is that something you were meeting once a quarter on the advisory board? Was that happening?
That's what's in the bylaws, 4 times per year. We met in the end of May, then we had a follow-up meeting in June, not on schedule. That was an additional one. We have the next one scheduled the end of this month on the 25th.
Yes.
Okay. And so if we redo this now, does the term still take place from when we signed it in 2024, or does it start anew right now?
No, I don't think we're suggesting a new term.
Another question, I have another couple points here too. Whenever, there was noted there too, I think it's in the bylaws that the advisory committee is on there to help appoint the program coordinators. Is that something that was done this time around? Is that something that you guys are aware of in the future?
Oh, we are duly and fully aware. That was a mistake on the part of the district in this last hiring when we were looking at the structure that we needed, which is why we made the revisions from the term director to coordinator, and that there's 2 coordinators. We needed someone that was more boots on the ground than we did overseeing the recreation piece of it. We didn't have the advisory board involved in that round of hiring for Mr. Govern, which was a mistake that we discussed at the meeting in May.
Okay, understood. Yeah, I just wanted clarity with that, because, as we move forward with this, that's something that's, for me personally, really important that we have a say of who's going to lead that program.
Understood.
And then lastly, I would like to see, again, in the bylaws, it talks about the coordinators coming once a year to the council meeting. I'd like to see that more often. And I know you kind of, our last meeting talked about maybe you guys wanted to start coming more often, but I think me personally, I would really love to see it once a quarter. How many for you representation, just give us updates along the way.
Yeah, I think we're planning the agenda for our advisory meeting here in a couple weeks, so we can definitely put that on and discuss that with the advisory board. I'd be interested to see if Royalton and Lower Swatara want that too, but that's definitely something that I think Abby and Nate are willing to do.
All right, that's all I had. Thank you, and thank you for the follow-up information given to us via email. Appreciate that.
Surely.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Grace, can I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Kuskovic?
Yes.
Mr. Lister?
Yes.
Ms. Lloyd?
Yes.
Mr. Reitinger?
No.
Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Willenbecker?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 8.
Do I have a motion to adopt resolution 2025-18, officially adopting the hazard mitigation plan of Dauphin County for Middletown Borough?
So moved. Second?
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 9.
Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-1421 to provide for customer charges, demand charges, and minimum monthly charges for electric services to be set by resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I have one comment I'd like to make. Although this will definitely make the process easier for council and staff, the one thing it will take away is accountability. In this isn't for the people sitting at this table, but in the future, there could be a new council that wants to change rates in not such a good way, and by changing this now, it takes a veto power away from the mayor, which could be a second line of defense. So as it would streamline the process for council to make changes, which I do agree with, it also does take away a second line of defense as far as keeping accountability. So I think that's something that should be weighed, and I just wanted to throw it out there. Not saying that it would apply to this council and this mayor, but you know, we don't know who would sit here 10, 15 years from now, what they would or wouldn't do with electric rates. Just letting, you know, something them all over.
Well, I'd like to add to your comment. I thought about the same thing, and I called 25 of the municipalities that has public electric. Out of 25, there were 2 that did it by ordinance. They were very small. Everybody else does it by resolution. So I felt much more comfortable knowing we're really just, that's how it's getting done. And I don't think we're going to have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Council Reininger, I mean, I kind of, that was something that popped in my head too. Jenny, that's awesome that you did that, by the way. I mean, you just shedding light on that right now. That's really good.
Yeah, and
I
it was
appreciate you doing it.
time consuming, but I did get to talk to some borough managers in that process, and they had some interesting insight on why they did it by resolution. So they just said it's too volatile a market, and they just have a better control on the cost that they're paying for electric and being able to keep up with it. So, is there any other questions?
I understand the point in theory, I really do. What keeps rolling in my mind over these last few weeks when this discussion's come up here and otherwise is I have never felt, unless anyone sees differently, but I have never felt that council had a lot of authority or influence over what the rates are. We are given the rates by, you know, it's a commodity, it's determined. The customer charge is certainly within our ability to set, but to set a customer charge higher than we need in order to cover our costs seems pretty unusual for any council to do. In theory, I understand, but I've never seen a council raise costs for the residents. Every council is always attempting to hold down costs so that we don't have to raise taxes. So while I understand it as a procedural mechanism, I never understood why the idea was that we have so much to say about the rates. Even these current rates, which seem to be up for discussion, we had no, if you will, sort of say in what they should be. We are given those rates and we affirm them in, you know, in a formal document, but we're not here discussing, hey, how much should we charge for electricity in the borough? It's simply not ours to do.
Well, that's half true, because we, unlike other maybe municipalities, do have a trust fund where we have options. It's not necessarily as black and white as maybe the next borough down the street that has electric department, because we have a trust fund with a lump sum of money in it. So we do have a little bit more flexibility, so I wouldn't say it is straight as black and white as what you're making it out to be.
Well, setting rates, it is. Addressing rate increases is sort of what you're implying. That is a different matter altogether.
Yep.
Given.
Aren't
And
they
which
one and
is
the same?
why
No.
we're, you know, and we will say that the borough put out on the website and Facebook, and we'll say it now, that at the Tuesday, September 2nd meeting, there will be a presentation from professional consultant we've engaged to look for possibilities and opportunities and solutions that the borough can take to mitigate rising costs on behalf of the residents. So, to
what's-
your point.
What's the difference between setting rates and a rate increase? Aren't they kind of like, you set a rate, but you increase a rate? What am I?
The thing on the agenda right now that we have a motion and a second on the floor is the mechanism.
I'm not talking about the
Not about the rate.
mechanism.
The
Mhm.
mechanism we follow to do that, to do a change.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking about.
But that's what's on the floor.
That's the order of business that we should be
Mhm.
discussing right now.
Right.
And questioning, so as not to confuse people.
Gotcha.
I have a comment.
Isn't this in regards to the electric fee that we're putting out there, not so much the wattage price? Isn't that what this is clearing up?
This
No.
is this ordinance, all this does is change the current ordinance sets the customer service charge in the ordinance. It actually has the amount in the ordinance, $10.91 is the customer service charge. And then it says the rate can be set by resolution in the current ordinance, not the one that's proposed tonight. The one that's proposed tonight, all it does is say, let's change the ordinance, since currently we can set the per kilowatt hour rate by resolution, why not be able to set the customer service charge by resolution as well? That's all this ordinance does. Now, when we get to the resolutions to change rates, there we can discuss
Right.
the need, the funding, where we're gonna fund it from, either through rates or through cash reserves, a trust fund, that sort of thing.
Correct.
So right now it's the mechanism, and I know the mayor has raised some concern, as you did, that if we change this ordinance to now allow the customer service charge also to be changed by resolution, that it may be done quicker than a resolution takes couple weeks to advertise, and then once it's advertised and voted on, a mayor can veto it, given another 10 days to get a majority plus one to overrule his veto, which provides more,
Accountability.
more questioning, more opportunity for people to look at it and think about it. So that's that side. What you hear President Miller and Vice President Willenbecker talking about in terms of the mechanism of using a resolution. Even some of the public suppliers in Pennsylvania that list their per kilowatt rate by ordinance, they'll also have a clause in there. They'll set it like a base per kilowatt rate of 8 cents per kilowatt hour. But then they'll say, we have another thing called a purchase power adjustment cost factor built into their ordinance that allows them to tack money on top of that per kilowatt rate based on what the market's doing, you know, with the fluctuation. Because what happened when deregulation happened back a few decades ago, back in the 90s, is electricity is no longer a municipal or treated like a enterprise without competition. It's now market driven. These people like PGM basically is a stock market for electricity, and they get to set rates based upon supply and demand, and we don't have control over that. No, not even the investor-owned utilities like PP&L and Med Ed have control over that. So what some of the boroughs have done is put this purchase cost adjustment factor in their ordinance that allows staff to tweak rates within a certain formula without council resolution or ordinance even. So either way, I think what Ms. Willenbecker says, I think most councils are gonna do the right thing. I'd say all councils are, and they're gonna do their due diligence. They're gonna hire, professionals to do a rate study like we did, or outside finance directors or accountants to look at our rates and look at our costs and come up with a proposal. So that all takes time too, even before you go and put it before the council. But I think what the mayor is, and I don't want to speak for him because I'm sure he'll have some other things to say too, but lots of times those workshop things that we do here, even though they're televised, and we're talking about what the rate experts are saying, what we should do for our rates, that sometimes takes a couple of months. And so information's out there. If you're paying attention what we're doing, you can see what we're planning to do way ahead of time, but a lot of people don't do that. So having an ordinance and the opportunity to veto, it's more layers, more opportunity to see what's going on before the vote. So it's really a political debate, which one you want to do as far as the process. Either one works, so.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Grace, can we have a roll call vote?
Mr. Pliskowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Lister?
No.
Ms. Lloyd?
Yes.
Mr. Readinger?
No.
Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Willenbecker?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 10.
Okay,
I have a question before you proceed.
Okay.
Is Mr. Diamond present?
No.
Latoya's here.
Okay, then never mind. I'll deal with it later. Thank you.
before we proceed to
That's no offense. I hear the laughing. That's no offense to Latoya. I've already talked about the situation to Jim. That's why I
all right, before we proceed to agenda item 10, which is the resolution that would change the actual rates, I would suggest that council table this agenda item until our next meeting, which allows you time, because where we are with item number 9, the ordinance, the mayor has 10 days to veto that ordinance. So it wouldn't be prudent for us to pass a resolution tonight and find out that he vetoes an ordinance 3 days from now, because that invalidates the resolution then, because the ordinance is what supports a resolution.
Is that his intent?
Well, we have a split vote tonight, and I think the mayor has already, on a number of occasions, expressed his desire to have everything set by ordinance. So that, for that reason, I'm saying I think you should wait and the 10 days and put this, table this item number 10, the resolution, until your workshop meeting. Because if he does veto the ordinance, you'll have to take up that matter again to see if you want to override his veto.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So I would ask for a motion to
So
table
moved.
that.
To the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 11.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the reduction of HT Partner LLC's letter of credit number STB 883 to a balance of $966,379 as recommended by HRG Engineering?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 12.
Do I have a motion to approve the special event request from the Middletown Area Baseball Association requesting closure of Hillside Road to Beechwood Drive and the street at baseball field on either side of the parking area for the annual baseball by the river tournament on August 9th and 10th, and again on August 16th and 17th.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Before you adjourn.
Those opposed? Okay, motion passes.
One thing I'd like to add before we entertain a motion to adjourn is regarding ordinance 2025-1421. You know, there's another option if you do wish to establish the per kilowatt rate going forward by ordinance. You would have to ask your solicitor to draft that, to have that as a proposal, as another alternative to overriding the veto. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
I'm sorry.
I didn't understand.
If there are at least two people who
Two.
It's 5-2.
voted for the mayor. If somebody changes their mind and comes to that thinking, I mean, you're going to leave here. If it is vetoed and you have, you know, residents who talk to you about, council people can change their mind before the veto vote comes up. If you wish to take the mayor's position and draft an ordinance where even the per kilowatt rate, which now is set by resolution, go back to ordinance, you would have to draft a new ordinance for advertisement.
Oh.
May I ask a question about that?
Sure.
Since you brought that up. So, in 2016, I'm sorry, can you sit back? Because I'm asking him, so I wanted to see him. So, in 2016, the rates, prior to 2016, the rates were set by ordinance, and then they changed them to be set by resolution, right?
Yes.
Do you have any idea why that was done?
I really don't. I wasn't here in 20.
Because then they increased the rates. So in 2016 was the last time that the borough changed or increased the electric rates.
Yes.
And at that time, that's when they went from being increased by ordinance to being increased by resolution.
Yes.
But we don't know why that change at that time was made.
No, I don't. I would only be speculating. I wasn't here at the time.
I was just curious because of all this, you know, that's been going on. I was just wondering if you had any background as to why that happened at that time.
No, I see that, you know, I can only speculate. I see that at that time our former electric superintendent was on council, and I don't know if he had a part in that. I do know from my time when I ran the utility here in Middletown, there were at times discussions about the volatile rate market that President Miller talked about. And some of the other municipals were changing to this purchase power cost adjustment factor. In fact, Middletown had one back in 2005 through 2010.
I was going to ask you when you brought that up if you,
Yeah, and I think around 2012, a council set a rate cap on what that could be. And then 2016 is when that all went away, and a totally new ordinance was there that set it by resolution. So it almost basically setting by resolution kind of eliminated that rate cap in a sense. But why that was done, I don't know what the discussion was, but according to the minutes, there was a former solicitor who was involved and recommended that, and also an outside finance consultant from Susquehanna Group who show up in the minutes recommending that ordinance.
One more thing, and I just want to go on the record and say, the reason I'm so cautious about this is nothing to do with the mayor, it's nothing to do with anybody on this council. And Ken may be able to opine on this. It was way before my time, but at some point in Middletown history, electric went through the roof. And electric rates were horribly out of whack, extremely expensive. And this stigma, that stigma still lives with the borough residents to this day. And I can't tell you, I'm owning an electrical contracting company, I'm in residents' homes doing electrical work on a weekly basis. I have 2 projects just today in the borough. And I get it all the time. I feel like a broken record. I literally have it on my phone, screenshotted, saved to show to people, you're paying less than anybody on the block. Because everybody just thinks that Middletown Electric is so expensive. and it's a stigma. And it's even lives with realtors. I come in contact with realtors all the time. They're like, "Oh, Middletown Electric." I'm like, "No, it's not bad. It's not bad." So it's nothing to do with taking the mayor's side or this or that or council or anybody at this table. I just know the stigma the borough has with electric rates, and it still lives to this day, even though we are the cheapest on the block, and we should be proud of that. Even if this all goes through and there's an increase, we're still the cheapest on the block. We should be proud of that. But there's still a stigma out there in the streets. It's unfortunate, and that was from a council.
Well,
And I don't have the history to it, and I don't know the details. And
I would say that, a lot of, and I say everybody, but a lot of people, when they look at their bill, they look at the bottom line. What's the total cost I got to pay? Now, there's a small portion that's in our electric bill, which is called trash. It's just $30 that gets in on the bottom line. But even if you subtract that out, I think people are astute enough to do that and say it's still high. They're looking at the bottom line. Our bills aren't itemized like these investor-owned utilities that do statement billing, where they have everything broken out from taxes to improvement fees to distribution fee and energy fee. And, I had a question recently that came online about, can I shop in Middletown? Why can't I shop? Because we shop for you. We're a municipally owned utility, and state law allows us to do that and to shop on your behalf for everybody. In fact, when we shop on your behalf, we get you a better energy rate than you can get on your own, because you're one customer. We have bigger buying power than you do as a customer. But the state laws allows these municipal electric suppliers to do that because we're an electric company. Why are we an electric company? Well, back in the 1800s, we had our own hydroelectric dam. That's how we ended up with poles and lights in the borough. At some point, it became more profitable to just buy the energy somewhere else and get rid of your own generation plant. Now, guess what? What goes around comes around. Now we're coming back to a time where it looks like it might be profitable again to generate some of your own electricity, at least some of it. In fact, Ephrata is doing that now. Ephrata has a 3.5 meg solar field. They also have on-site generation for peak shaving. So those are some things we'll talk about in September 2nd. But getting back to the cost in Middletown, the other thing, we're also the oldest community in Dauphin County. So what do you get with the oldest community in Dauphin County? Old housing stock. We had a sweetheart deal for many years up until 1990s, where we were able to buy power for 1 cent a kilowatt in perpetuity from York Haven Power, which eventually got switched to Exelon, which is the 3 Mile Island owners at the time. And they took Middletown to court several times. They wanted to break that in perpetuity contract. And the further their costs got ahead of that 1 cent a kilowatt hour they had to sell it to, like it cost them 4 cents to produce it or sell it for 1. The court was going to break the contract. So before the court broke the contract, Middletown struck a deal with that power company for $18 million settlement. That went into the trust. Now, all of a sudden, that 1 cent per kilowatt contract's no good. Now we're paying the energy rate. We have to shop like everybody else. And it immediately went to 4 cents back then when that happened. And today, and it's a long time ago, we're buying our energy for 5 cents a kilowatt, a little over 5. So that's not a big increase. But now enter the new age of high demand for electric, with everything that's battery operated, from TVs, electronic TVs, which are drawing power even when they're off, to computers that are drawing power when they're off, and most homes keep them plugged in all the time. And that's just a small part, but it's over a lot of users. But now we get into tech and data centers. Everything has an app, and it requires computers and AI and bigger data centers that run off of energy, electric. They draw so much energy to some of these data centers, they have to cool them with water. They get that hot. They draw that much energy. And that's who has the money, the Googles, the Microsoft. They're building data centers everywhere.
I just read
That's
that China,
the demand.
China built one under the sea.
Yep. So that causes a demand, and what you tie that with is our government for years now, has been looking to go green. So they're retiring coal plants. They're making it harder to get permits. With all the environmental rules, sometimes it takes 10 years to get a permit to get a plant online. So what happens as a company that owns an aging power plant that doesn't meet the carbon emissions anymore, they have to close it. It's off the grid. So your supply's less and your demand's up. So here's the PJM, the stock market now for electric. They go out and shop with all the generators and say, how much are you going to charge me if I tell you I need 1,000 more megs today because it's really hot? Well, that's a premium. So they do auction and they pass that cost on to us. So that's what you're seeing now. The reason we're talking about a price increase, because we can't shop for transmission capacity costs. That's built in. The only thing we can shop for is energy. So that's the part you can't. It used to be that the biggest part of that 5 cents was energy.
Right.
It was about 4 cents, and about a penny of it was transmission capacity. It's flipping now. It's going the other way. The energy's still the same, but transmission capacity is more than energy costs now. So that's why you see some of these boroughs and say, hey, we need to be nimble on our feet with adjusting these rates or we're going to lose a lot of money. You're losing money because it's your electric company, okay? The PGM bill increased in June, and that increase just for June was $80,000 in 1 month. So can you imagine if you go half a year times 6 months, there's $500,000 that's coming out of your reserve cash or out of a trust fund, which it's what it's there for. But, you know, we talked before, and this just comes down to a decision of council and the community. You know, we have $10 million in a trust fund. And here again, it's a political decision. Do we want to use that and draw that down? We have in the past, not recently, not since 2008, I don't think. We're down to 10 million when we started out with 18. There's 10 million in trust. Do you want to draw it down some more to give people some time? When it's gone, it's gone. Or do you want to use some of it? Or do you want to use none of it and keep it all to invest in some future generation facility in town that might help, that would help bring costs down? We don't know if they're, you know, those probabilities will pan out. You know, that's what we're going to have people in here September 2nd. You know, what are our options, you know, and are they possible? Do we even have enough money with our trust fund now to do some of those? I asked somebody recently, what would it cost to build a 5 meg solar field? We use about 15 megs in the borough on an average day. So what would it cost to generate 5, a third of it? And the off-the-cuff answer I got was probably about $15 million, plus buying land somewhere and building a transmission main. So those are some of the tough decisions everybody's going to have to make around this table. What do we do? What's our next move?
2 things. One, actually, there's a topic that I'd like to speak on this in executive session that really might help the borough with that. Second, President Miller, when you were calling around to these other boroughs, did you ask them how they treat residential solar in their boroughs?
I did not. I did not.
I was just curious.
I'm going to say 80% of the people that I talked to was a secretary.
Okay.
I did have interaction with several borough managers, but a lot of them was just, you know, was a secretary, and I just simply stuck to my question. So,
Just curious.
now is the time for general public comment.
Diane Newsoft, 511 Cattell Street, live in Middletown. My entire life, basically lived in my same house my entire life. Over the past couple of months, it's been very difficult for me because I have a handicap placard, and most of the houses around me are not rentals, but they have 5 or 6 cars. So there's times that I don't have a parking spot in front of my place, and I hate to also say because there's also trailers parked in front of my house. So I thought I would get a handicap parking spot. In the Borough Ordinance, Part 2, Chapter 252, you added a Section 9 back in 2018. What that was is, if I want a handicap parking spot in front of my house, I have to pay $75. I'm fine with that. You have to paint the curb, you gotta put the sign up or whatever. Where I have difficulty is, I share that parking spot with whoever else has a handicap spot. And each year, I have to pay $35 maintenance in order to maintain my handicap parking spot, which is really not my handicap parking spot, because anybody could park there. Previously, you used to have your permit on the sign, and only like my placard could park there. I don't understand back in 2018 how council could say I have to pay $75 and then pay $35 yearly when Joe Schmo from Hummelstown could be going to the fire hall, because I live near Ardelia Street Fire Hall, and could park in front of my house, and now, because they have the fire hall, Jack Frost, love their soul, love their ice cream, their business is picking up, they're parking up on my street. Like I said, most of the houses have 5 or 6 cars. To my knowledge, there are no rentals at all on my street. So I'm bringing up, that seems like I'm being judged again. Also today, I found out that we have a permit pass area in Middletown. I did not even know that. I have not had time to check into that, but there's a permit pass on Wood Street that I discovered today. It's from 3 to 11. If I can have a handicap parking spot that is my own, so that I don't have to, especially like when I go grocery shopping, seriously. You can tell I'm already running out of breath just talking. Can I get a permit pass? What does that entail? As I said, I only found that out today. I was not aware Middletown did that. I just need a resolution. All I want is to be able to park in front of my house with my grocery cart, to unload my groceries with my placard, and that spot is mine. The other thing also in the ordinance is that it has to be a permanent placard. I have another place in another state. I have a golf cart down there. So I take my placard and I put it on the golf cart down there so that I can park down there. So I don't have a permanent one because I use it on the golf cart down there instead of taking it on the car. So I would like the council to look into this and determine how this came about. Did the state require that you can't have a permit placard number on the sign anymore? But then why is the borough charging me $135, or I'm sorry, $75 initially and $35 every year to maintain it? Like I said, initial, I have no problem if it's mine.
I can answer some of your question probably. The state is involved when it comes to on-street parking, and that prevents us from making a handicap space specifically for a certain person. It has to be for anybody with a handicap placard, according to the state. When you saw numbers on them years ago, that was illegal. The borough was doing something they shouldn't have never done, okay? They probably didn't know the state rule, but the state rule is you can put permit handicap parking spot on a street. It's got to be set up by ordinance, so why the money to buy one? We have to buy the sign, the pole, people have to put it in, and we have to pay our lawyers an advertisement to advertise ordinance and resolutions for those things.
As stated, I have no problem with the initial fee. I have a problem with the $35 fee every year.
Right.
When it's not mine.
Yeah.
And then if that's the case, how can I go about getting a permit pass since the borough allows that, and what needs to be done in that area?
You're talking about permit parking now, and that's set by ordinance too, but we can't do that per individual space. Permit parking has to be done in a zone, like a neighborhood. We
Oh,
can't
I
just
could
do
get
one.
my neighborhood to go along with that.
Yeah, then you'd have to get council to go along with that too, yeah.
I mean, I wanna follow the steps and do everything, and like I said, when I come home from grocery shopping and I can't park in front of my house and I have 8 steps to climb up my hill, now I have a block and a half I gotta walk from my car to get to my house, let alone I'm paying the borough yearly fee for a space
Yeah.
that isn't mine.
Diane, when you come home and there's someone else with a handicap placard in your handicap spot, do you know if it's perhaps someone in your neighborhood
I
who
don't have a
is
handicap.
eligible?
I don't have a handicap. I went to ask for one, and this is what I found out.
Oh,
I do not currently have one.
I see.
I went to ask for one because my health is getting worse. I'm getting older. And more cars are appearing, and I hate to say it, trailers also. I know, touchy subject. But cars and trailers are appearing in my area that I even have people coming to my house and say, since when did you move to a trailer park? Another issue, but they take up.
Oh, you don't have a, this is
I
your.
don't have it. I'm trying to get one, but
yeah.
trailers park in front of my place. Like I said, some of the houses have 5 to 6 cars. They're not rentals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how one house could even have 6 people that could comfortably live in that house. But that's not my call. My call is I want a spot so I don't have to walk a block and a half because I am handicapped. And I also shouldn't have to pay $35 every year to maintain it when it's really not mine to maintain.
Ma'am, which street did you say you live on?
Cattell, it's the
Cattell.
one right a block away from the fire hall. So when they have events, I get hit. When the craft fair has events, I get hit. When Jack Frost, which is doing phenomenal business now, I get hit almost every night. And then, like I said, the multiple cars per house and the trailers, my only other option, I don't know if I am legally allowed to do this, is make my entire curbing as if it's a driveway. Then nobody can park anywhere.
You talking about painting it yellow or something?
Oh, well, having the slant down.
Shaving it down to.
Yeah.
Have a, curb cut, an apron, driveway apron.
Putting a driveway apron in.
Not putting a driveway, just
That's-
treating the curb as if it was an entrance to a driveway.
Right, but not really have a driveway there. I mean, there's
Would
no...
be an apron with no driveway.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
yeah,
no ordinance to
you
my
have to go-
knowledge that says that can't be done. It's-
Yeah, you'd have to go through codes and there's rules there too, so.
Yeah.
But us older people need to be taken care of. And I don't see that happening. I mean, at least as far as I'm concerned, I just have constant issues with parking and getting to my house, and that's what I said, my option is to do the curb thing.
Your best option really is to apply for a handicap space.
Yep.
I'm
That
not
really
paying
is.
$35 a year for somebody else to park there.
And we can't manage that. I mean, we're kind of caught.
Well, we could get rid of fees. The borough could.
Say again?
Borough could do away with
Eliminate the
fees.
fee,
Borough could limit.
but we can't manage the street. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah, if you eliminate and like I said, initial, $75, I think is what it says. Yeah, $75. I
Yeah.
understand that. The sign, the painting and everything else, even though it's totally not my handicap spot, I just think something needs to be addressed in that area because
Oh, the fee.
our generation is getting older and older and older, and we live in the oldest town in Dauphin County, so why wouldn't we have the oldest citizens in Dauphin County?
Mr. Kleinpeter, I have a question for you. You said that it's illegal to have private handicap parking. So let me ask you this. If you have a street, an area that is permit parking only, that you have to have a permit to park on that road, and then you also have a resident that applies for handicap parking, and they get a handicap parking space. So now you have a handicap parking space inside of a permit parking zone. Now, can anybody with handicap parking just parking that? Or do they also have to have
The
a parking pass? Because in that scenario, you just created a handicap space that is not accessible to any other handicapped person unless they have a parking permit in that zone.
I
Well,
like
they
that solution.
You would be the person that would come up with a scenario like that.
And I like that solution.
But the thing,
I don't know the answer to that question, but
the thing,
I might have to
no,
turn to the
but
lawyer.
the thing would be, they would have to live there.
Right.
They would, the parking pass would say that they live there.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that would be the only reason why they would have the parking pass.
The point I'm trying to make is,
Permit within a permit.
Mr. Klein Peter stated it is illegal to create a handicap parking space that's only dedicated to an individual, like a permitted one.
But if there's two people that live in that area, and one doesn't have have a you know,
Space.
a space, and another one does, sorry about your luck, Charlie.
Yeah,
But-
the point I'm trying to make is if we have a parking, if we have a zone that's permit parking only, and a resident lives in that zone and they apply and get a handicap parking space, right?
Can I just say, as fascinating as that scenario is, we actually have a 4-minute limit on this kind of exchange. So, is there anything else we need to understand? It is the issue of the $35. Otherwise, you would move forward and request a handicap space in front of your place.
Right, but now I like the parking pass handicap thing, so I need to know how to.
Well,
But see, that is not,
the thing is there's only a certain amount of hours that's in effect.
yeah, permits.
It's not all day, is it?
What?
Permit parking, yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah, it's residential permit parking, like out on Grandview where there was an issue with.
In
Poly-
some areas it is.
in
What-
some areas,
yeah,
it's
you're
so
right,
many
Rachel.
hours.
And Wood
Yeah.
Street was an issue with
Yeah.
the parking.
Great,
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I gave you something to sleep on.
Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, I need a motion for adjournment,
So
and we will be
moved.
going to executive session.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion, meeting adjourned.
Hey, Ken, I won't be going into executive session.
Okay,